In the year 2000, the CEO of Blockbuster sat across a table from the founders of a small DVD-by-mail company called Netflix. Netflix was losing money. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph had built something interesting, but they were not sure it would survive. So they flew to Dallas and made an offer. They would sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million. The Blockbuster CEO, John Antioco, reportedly laughed them out of the room. He told his team afterward that Netflix was a small, niche business, not a threat, not worth $50 million. 24 years later, Netflix is worth approximately $280 billion. Blockbuster has one store left. It is in Bend, Oregon. It sells souvenirs. This is not a story about technology. It is not a story about streaming versus DVDs. It is a story about a company that had every opportunity to survive and chose not to take any of them. To understand how Blockbuster fell, you need to understand how dominant it actually was. Because this was not a small company that got steamrolled. This was a $6 billion empire at its peak. Blockbuster was founded in 1985 by David Cook in Dallas, Texas. Cook was a software entrepreneur who saw an opportunity in the chaotic, badly organized home video rental market. Most video stores at the time were small, poorly lit, and run by local operators. Cook envisioned something different, something that felt like a retail destination. The first Blockbuster opened in October 1985. It was 8,000 square feet, enormous compared to competitors. It stocked over 8,000 VHS titles. It had bright lighting, organized categories, and a computerized checkout system. Cook had essentially applied retail science to an industry that had none. Customers loved it immediately. Within 2 years, investors were circling. In 1987, a businessman named Wayne Huizenga bought a controlling stake in Blockbuster. Huizenga was not a video person. He was a franchise operator, the man who had scaled waste management into a national company. He looked at Blockbuster and saw the same thing. A simple model that could be replicated everywhere, fast. Under Huizenga, Blockbuster expanded at a rate of one new store every 17 hours at its peak. By 1992, it was public. By 1994, Viacom paid nearly $10 billion to acquire it. Blockbuster was not just a video store. It was the dominant entertainment destination for an entire generation of Americans. But the very thing that made Blockbuster dominant was also quietly building the resentment that would eventually destroy it. The late fee. In 1999, Blockbuster made approximately $800 million from late fees alone. That was 16% of their total revenue. Late fees were not a side effect of the business model. They were the business model. And customers absolutely hated them. Meanwhile, a software engineer in California had an idea triggered by his own late fee experience. Reed Hastings returned Apollo 13 6 weeks late in 1997 and was charged $40. The story goes that he was embarrassed to tell his wife. On the way to the gym, he thought, what if video rental worked like a gym membership? A flat monthly fee. No late fees, ever. In 1997, Hastings and Mark Randolph co-founded Netflix. The original model was simple. Order DVDs by mail, keep them as long as you want, no late fees, return them when you are done. The subscription model came slightly later, but the no late fee principle was there from day one. For the first few years, Netflix was not a serious threat to Blockbuster. DVD players were not widespread. Broadband internet barely existed. But Netflix was growing, and they were building something Blockbuster had never thought to build: a data system that understood exactly what every single customer wanted to watch next. By 2000, Netflix had around 300,000 subscribers. They were burning through cash. The dot-com bubble had just burst. Reed Hastings needed an exit or a lifeline. So he called Blockbuster. The two Netflix founders flew to Dallas and sat across the table from John Antioco, the CEO of Blockbuster, and his team. They proposed a partnership. Blockbuster would acquire Netflix for $50 million. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online operations. Together, they would own both the physical and digital future of home entertainment. Antioco and his team laughed. According to people in the room, the Netflix founders were embarrassed. The Blockbuster executives found the idea that a DVD-by-mail company posed any threat to their 9,000 stores almost comical. What Antioco did not see, what almost nobody saw in 2000, was that Netflix was not actually selling DVDs. They were selling the elimination of friction. Every decision they made removed one more reason for a customer to feel annoyed. No late fees, no driving to a store, no out-of-stock titles, no queue, just the film you wanted arriving at your door. Antioco flew back to Dallas. Blockbuster continued expanding. Netflix continued removing friction. And somewhere in the background, an engineer at Netflix was beginning to think about what would happen if you did not need the disc at all. Here is the part of the Blockbuster story that most people do not know. Blockbuster did not go down without a fight. In 2004, John Antioco launched a counterattack that, for a brief moment, actually looked like it might work. Antioco launched Blockbuster Online, a direct competitor to Netflix. DVD by mail, same model, same pricing. He also began eliminating late fees, the one thing customers hated most. In 2005, Blockbuster abolished late fees across all its stores. It cost them $400 million in revenue in a single year. But customer satisfaction scores went up immediately. The problem was the board. Carl Icahn, the activist investor who held a significant stake in Blockbuster, was furious about the revenue loss. He forced Antioco out in 2007 and replaced him with Jim Keyes, the former CEO of 7-Eleven. Keyes almost immediately reintroduced late fees, and he made a statement in 2008 that has become one of the most infamous quotes in business history. Jim Keyes said, and this is a direct quote, "I've been in the business long enough to remember when Netflix was not even on the radar screen. I don't think they are that well positioned." He said this in 2008. Netflix had 11 million subscribers. While Keyes was dismissing Netflix, Reed Hastings was preparing to change everything again. In 2007, Netflix launched its streaming service. You no longer needed a disc. You no longer needed to wait. The film came to you instantly. The physical rental business was over. It just did not know it yet. From 2007 onward, the story accelerates fast. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in September 2010. Dish Network acquired the remaining assets in 2011 for $320 million, a fraction of the $10 billion Viacom had paid just 17 years earlier. The timeline is brutal when you lay it out. In 2004, the year Blockbuster launched its counteroffensive, Netflix had 3 million subscribers and was worth nothing. By 2010, Netflix had 20 million subscribers, and Blockbuster was bankrupt. By 2020, Netflix had 200 million subscribers. Today, it is worth approximately $280 billion. The last corporate-owned Blockbuster stores closed in January 2014. 3 franchise stores in Alaska closed in 2018 and 2019. That left one, the Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. It is still open. It has a gift shop. People go there to take photos. The owner, Sandy Harding, has said she will keep it open as long as she can. It has become, somehow, something people love. But here is what makes the Blockbuster story genuinely fascinating. It was not inevitable. Blockbuster had multiple moments where the right decision was available, and they did not take it. The $50 million Netflix offer. The late fees elimination that was reversed. The counteroffensive that was working until the board pulled the plug. Every exit was there. They walked past every single one. There is a word for what Blockbuster suffered from. It is called the innovator's dilemma, a concept developed by Harvard professor Clayton Christensen. It describes what happens when a successful company is so focused on protecting its existing business that it cannot bring itself to cannibalize it, even when cannibalizing it is the only way to survive. So what does the Blockbuster story actually teach us? Because it would be easy to say Blockbuster was just slow or stupid or arrogant. But the truth is more complicated and more useful than that. Lesson 1. The customer is not loyal to your brand. They are loyal to their own convenience. Blockbuster's customers did not leave because they stopped loving movies. They left because Netflix removed every reason to stay. The moment a competitor makes your customer's life easier than you do, you have already lost them, whether you know it or not. Lesson 2. Revenue can be a trap. Blockbuster's late fees were generating $800 million a year. That is precisely why they could not get rid of them. Every dollar of late fee revenue made it harder to see that the whole model was being undermined. When a revenue stream is also the thing that is eroding your customer relationships, you have a problem that the income statement will not show you until it is too late. Every week on Unpack Business, we go inside stories like this one, the decisions, the missed turns, and the moments that separated the companies that survived from the ones that did not. If you want to understand how the business world actually works, you know what to do. We will see you in the next one.